And so that's why, context matters, right? Context matters because they'll only show you just a clip to get you to react to, and paint a certain narrative. And there's a lot of that going on, right? So Reacher, right? Watching this first clip, you're like, okay, the guy's an a-hole. That's the conclusions you draw up, right? Check it out. So that's Reacher, and that's the neighbor, and those are his sons apparently, right? And he's beating up the neighbor. His bike is on the ground, or there's a bike there, right? It's his. So he beat his ass. Puts his helmet back on. The bike is still on. Very, very sensitive. There's a lot of people that, said that this looks kind of dumb. It's a very, very sensitive throttle. I ride motorcycles. I have a Harley Davidson Sportster, 2012. It is a very sensitive throttle, right? A hair, move it a hair, man. The thing is revving, right? I don't know how many horsepowers are on the damn thing. It is loud and it is very, very powerful. Now, these bikes are even faster than a Harley, right? Mine is more loud, right? It's just about this is a sport, kind of bike. This goes, easy over 120 miles, easy, right? And those are his sons. Also, I'm assuming he was teaching them how to ride. It's important to. It's not riding a motorcycle is not like riding a bicycle, right? Something about going above 15 miles per hour. If you turn the handles, so that the wheel goes to the right, you're thinking you're gonna go that way, and you're not. You're actually gonna go that way. They call it counter steering. Something because the bike wants to fall this way, that's why you're going to go that way. So whenever you see a motorcyclist where he's turning left, you're going to see him he's going to pull the handlebars toward the right in order to go left. This is why accidents happen. Because the instinct is to, right, if somebody just gets in front of you, the instinct is to turn the handlebars in the direction you think you're going to evade them, but you might just end up crashing into a whole trailer or a whole car or whatever. So, from a young age, it's probably even better to get them, practicing and learning, respecting the machine, right? I went through a course, so I paid for that, and the instructors were very thorough. So, yes, this is something you have to do, at least once a week in order to keep that. It's kind of like flying, right? You have to, have the hours. It's kind of the same thing here. You'll lose a lot of the practice. It comes back eventually, but you always want to, have those skills sharp, right? So very, very sensitive. That's why the bike, moved. So he turns it off there, right? Because you got to turn it off. It's very sensitive stuff. Still spouting off. Words are being exchanged. This guy must be saying something. And then he drives off, right? Turns the bike back on. Drives off with his boys, right? So when you see this at first glance, right, it's like, okay, so Reacher is an a-hole, right? Okay. That's the conclusion you would draw, right? They do this a lot, right? Especially people who are, when cops are breaking into a vehicle and stuff, they only show you the altercation, right? They only show you the act. They don't show you the build-up towards the act, right? The officer yelled at the individual, get out of the fucking car, something like 30 plus times. They never did. They never followed instructions. But they'll only show you just the section of, the act of what went down when the officer's freaking out, right? So the internet does this a lot. So check this out, right? This is the context. Apparently, the neighbor was upset. I don't know what the guy's name is. Apparently, because Alan Ritchson, I believe is his name. Yeah, Alan Ritchson was riding really fast through the neighborhood, right? And so the guy was upset. Here you can see, at the start of this clip, is 22 miles per hour. Again, these bikes are very fast, man. They probably go from 0 to 100 in less than, maybe about 2 seconds, right? Assuming you can clutch that fast, right? Assuming it's not automatic, right? I don't know. I've never ridden these bikes. They're very uncomfortable. I'm kind of a big dude. It's not a comfortable position to be in, the way they're bent there. That's why I ride a Harley, right? So this is the context that was missing from the clip. Get ready. So 22:19, right? It's always good to have these things, right? The cam is good, right? I recommend having a cam if you don't on your vehicles, a front dash. If you have, you can get it the whole 360, even better. When you're riding, when you're out in public, it would be the best thing, especially as men, right? Never, ever, ever make the mistake of being alone with kids or being alone with a woman. Never make that mistake. And if you are in any situation like that, make sure you have a camera, right? Or make sure you're in an area where there's a camera, right? I was a teacher, a 7th grade mathematics teacher, just for 1 year. I'm not certified in the state of Texas. But after the COVID lockdowns, there was a shortage of teachers, so I applied they were just hiring anybody that had a bachelor's degree. So I had just graduated. I have a bachelor's in biology with a minor in chemistry. So for 1 year, I taught 7th grade mathematics. And there was a day where, because my first class, I had it off. It was like my planning period. That's what they call it, a planning class, right? So that 1 hour was for me. And there was a girl that had choir. So sometimes the choir teacher would let the students go early, and she would come in. When she would come in, I would go out, right? I would go out into the hallway where there's cameras, right? There wasn't cameras inside the room, unfortunately, But I'll tell you, man, as 7th graders, they're crazy, bro. I can't tell you the amount of times dogs, drugs, the canines had to go into my classroom looking for drugs on the students, bro. So it's insane. But here we go. So here we have Crazy Willie, right? This crazy ass neighbor, right? Look at what this asshole's about to do here. Okay, that's very dangerous, man. And you can see that Alan here has slammed on the brake now. When I was going through the course, I'm not sure if the rules are different. I'm assuming they're the same for all motorcycles. They would say 70% on the front brake, 30% on the back one, because 30% if you do 70% on the back one, you're gonna skid, right? Your back tire is gonna skid, and then you're gonna fall over. So here he looks like he kind of did, that is required. I'm not sure if it was just full force, right? Maybe above 70%. He is gonna flip over, right? Let me go back a little bit. So he fell over the front, right? Now the bike, it does not turn off there, right? It's still in gear. The wheels can still be spinning, right? Even after you hit the brake, right? Sometimes at a clutch, right, in a clutch position, it'll turn off on its own. It just depends. There's different safety mechanisms to these things. Even though he's off the bike here, he's still not safe, right? He just flipped over it. The thing could come back, right? Get him at his ankle, right? Get him in his face. His face could get smushed in between the tire and the fender on the inside, right, of the chain. He could get stuck there. His fingers could get caught. His foot could get caught. Anything like this can happen, right? So this is a very, very serious situation at this point. Adrenaline is 100% shot, I'm sure, right? So let's go back a little bit here. That's the reaction. Yeah, that's the reaction you're always gonna get. Even if it's a vehicle, even if you get in the way, whatever happens, you're gonna get the same reaction, man. Whether that be male or female, you gotta be on the lookout for these guys, man, and girls.
Stand in front of a again, dude.
Yeah.
You threaten my safety, bro.
Let me see if I can. Okay, there's no captions.
I should not be. Stand in front of a again, dude. You threaten my safety, bro. Are you kidding me? I should not be fired at him. Go ahead, go down. Go down. I'm cold to BPD. I'm cold to already.
So he says like, you put my safety in jeopardy, right? And says like, you could have done something. This could have gone worse, right? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you get in front of the bike, right? And this guy's like, call the police, right? You're driving recklessly, etc. I don't know who put the music behind this crap, bro. Idiot.
Like a lunatic. There's kids running around here. Go ahead.
I don't see any kids at all on the neighborhood, right? For the most part, kids nowadays, they don't really play in the neighborhood at all, man. They're usually indoors playing PlayStation or on Roblox is another thing I hear, right? So I don't see any kids at all, right? Just besides the kids that Alan has, right?
Go ahead. Are you drinking? Go ahead.
Even if that was the case, that he was riding recklessly, the highest he went there was 22 miles an hour. Now, maybe there was a road where he was coming from, right? Maybe he was going fast there, but when he turned into the neighborhood, right, the rules changed, right? Everybody knows this, except idiots. Idiots don't know this, right? Well, from what we saw, it was 22 miles per hour.
Call the police. Out of your mind, dude. Call the police. No. You.
Sounds like an Englishman. So he's like revving, right? Like revving, get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of my face. That's what it is. They'll do that. Guys on Harleys will do that, right? They'll do that to let you know that they're around. Also, like in case you're on your phone like an idiot driving and you're not watching them, they'll rev it, right? Just to be like, hey, I'm around. Watch out for me, right? I don't got a seatbelt, you know? So it looks like the guy pushes him off here, off of the bike. So now he's asked for it, right? At this point, right, it wasn't enough standing in front of the bike. Mr. Brilliant there, right? Looks like he pushed off Alan off the bike again, right? Oh, you know, is trying to continue to, you know, escalate the altercation, right?
Dude. Call the police. No.
Gets back. We can only assume that, you know, he pushed him. There we go.
Fucking out of your goddamn.
Now you got your ass beat, boy. That's what happens. That's what happens. And if this had been, you know, those anybody in an MC, right? This individual would not be with us today, right? If this had been a member of the MC right now, Alan is a buff dude, bro. I'm not gonna make accusations or any kind of theories, right? But I'm assuming there's a lot of testosterone being pumped through them muscles, right? Anybody who has seen Reacher, right? This guy is a wall. You know, he's a wall, bro. So he beat his ass, right? It could have gone worse.
Hey, mind.
He said
Stay
him,
down.
stay down. He said him, stay down.
Stay down. Stop stupid.
Those are like his boys are like, whoa, dad's badass, bro. Dad's a badass, bro.
Jesus Christ.
I know Alan Ritchson also has a YouTube channel where he talks a lot about faith and church, right? I'll see if we can find it in a bit. We'll see if we can search for that. So they don't show there, but he tells him, like, everything was on camera, right? They're all going to see this assault. Like, you assaulted me, right, sir? So now once we have the full context, right, now the police, right, have decided to drop the charges, right? They decided to drop the charges, so he's free, right? They call it self-defense. And that's what happened there. Our next Batman, nice. He was going 23 miles an hour. Karen got what he asked for real, man. Don't mess with Reacher, dude, for real, man. What an idiot. So, you know, just don't be stupid, man, you know? Let's see if we can find his channel, bro. I know he has one. I remember I saw him talking once. It's this one, Insta Church. So here he talks about I don't know if he has any new content. 6 months ago. So every now and then, right? It's very rare, I guess. I'm assuming that he's in between, you know, filming for season 4 of Reacher. But I've gone on here and checked out his you know, Bible takes and stuff like that, and his messages, and it's pretty pretty positive for the most part, right? If you want to check it out, this is what it's called, Insta Church. This is his YouTube channel. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you're somebody who falls for the story the first time, right? And paint a narrative in order to get you to, you know, get your feelings worked up, emotions worked up. It's always important to get the full context of everything, right? Take that and apply it to your real life as well. Coworker is slacking. worker is slacking, you're a boss, whatever. Don't assume, right? Verify the whole picture. Somebody comes with you, like I remember some of my students, man. They come at me with a story, right? Oh, I don't wanna sit with this person, or I don't wanna sit next to that person, right? Cause they hit me or whatever, and it's like, okay, well, you go and find out. You can't just run with a story. Go and find out, read the whole context, get with that other student, right? What's going on, and now you have the whole picture, right? So that's always important. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. You guys know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow, repost, all that good stuff. And I will see you all in the next one, man. Peace.